Welcome to Our Hometown, the show where we take an in-depth look at some of the people and organizations that make this area unique. On this month's show, we'll meet with Fred Thorne and Denise Williams, who will tell us about the Sunset Beach concert series happening this summer. Then we'll speak with Ann Bockelman from the Old Bridge Preservation Society, who will share information with us about the new museum for the Old Bridge. And finally, we'll meet with Tom Smiklis of the Brunswick Concert Band. So stay with us for the next half hour as we explore our hometown. My guests are Fred Thorne and Denise Williams. They are the moving force behind the Sunset Beach concert series, and I'm pleased to welcome you to our program.
Thank you, Jim.
Glad to be here.
Fred, I'll start with you. Just give us a little background as to the concert series. I know you've begun to draw huge crowds and you have a great program, but tell us a little bit about the history.
Jim, the concert series began in 2012. Last year, Denise Williams, Wilson Sherrill, Anita August, and Janie Withers helped me with the concerts. We had a great season, had over 20,000 people attend the concerts. This year, 2014, we're looking for even larger audiences.
Bigger and better than ever.
Yes.
Wow. Denise, tell us a little bit about, I know you have a great lineup. But,
we do.
Tell us a little bit about the lineup of the bands that you have.
Well, we have a lot of the bands that everybody loves to come to see, all the beach variety bands. We started it off with the Craig Willard Band and the Embers. We have the Fantastic Shakers, Carolina Breakers, things like that.
Wow.
But something that I think makes us a little bit different, we have a lot of bands that are exclusive only to Sunset Beach. We have the Fat Jack Band, the Ginger Thompson Band. We're featuring a new country band by the name of Daryl Harwood. And we have a great lineup of good variety bands. A new band to the area is called Six Styles. They play music from the 60s, 70s. We have a fantastic band called the Dickens that plays, gosh, a little bit of everything, reggae, 80s, 90s, you name it. So we're real excited about the new talent that we're bringing to the area. And believe it or not, we're actually introducing a bluegrass band this year. Who knew that the state of Virginia had a champion band called Jackass Flats? And they're actually going to be playing with us this summer too, so we're real excited about our lineup.
Well, I play bluegrass music, so
Oh, yeah?
I'll be there.
Well, good. We'll look for
I'll
you.
be there.
Very good.
But in addition to that, you have shag music,
Absolutely.
rock and roll, country.
Country.
I heard you say reggae.
Reggae, absolutely. I mean, a very diverse lineup, a lot of eclectic music.
Something for everyone.
Yes.
And we'll get details as to the times and each of those bands that'll be with you. Fred, I know that you raise money, you help raise money for charities.
Yes, Jim.
And that's an integral part of what you do.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Jim, we have 15 concerts, thus we can work with 15 different charities.
Wow.
There is a formal selection process. We have an application. Those applications go out to charities here in Brunswick County. They fill out the application. The application then comes back to our committee. We review the applications and select based on a number of factors.
Sure.
We select the charity and pair them up with one of the concert bands. And what happens then is the evening of the concert, the charities, they raise funds, whether it be through raffles, 50-50s or whatever. And basically, last year, the charities collected or raised over $34,000 here in Sunset Beach.
Wow.
So they had a great year, and we have some returning charities this year, and we have some new charities this year.
Well, it's a noble endeavor because you're raising money for charities. Those who attend are having a terrific time, and it's good for the community. Let's not forget that as well.
Yeah. I mean, the folks, I would say most of our attendees, or quite a high percentage of our attendees, are locals, but we do also bring in a lot of visitors. We've had people coming from South Carolina, we've had people coming from Wilmington, all over the place. Become quite a summer concert
Is there a
series.
cost to attend a concert?
No, there's no cost. The concerts are free. The way we raise money to pay for the bands, the insurance for
Sure.
the Village Park and our other facilities is local businesses. Very appreciative of the town of Sunset Beach. They are a platinum sponsor.
Wow.
Sunset Slush, a major sponsor. They are a diamond sponsor this year. And we have Sunset Beach, we have a number of gold sponsors. Of course, we have Fibber McGee's, we have Papa John's, we have Dixieland Kettle Corn, Sunset Properties, Fred Thorne Realty, my company, and Sea Trail is a new sponsor this year.
It's always good
They
to
will
mention
be on
those
site.
It's always good to mention those that are supporting you.
And of all the sponsors, we are part of the Park and Rec program. So any of the funds that we raise do come to stay in Sunset Beach to pay for the entertainment.
Right.
And I'm proud to say that over 50% of each of the different levels of sponsorship are from Sunset Beach and local merchants.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, Denise, you have, each weekend is a special weekend, but you may also have some special events for the 4th of July and Labor Day.
Absolutely. Well, our concerts are every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30. On the week of July the 2nd, I believe, is the Wednesday that week prior to the 4th on that Friday, we're going to have the Hip Pocket Band. They are a fantastic band. They're all over North Carolina, but they play a little bit of everything. When we had them last year, it was the first time they played at any of the Parks and Rec series last year in Brunswick County. They were just a hit. So definitely come out for the Hip Pocket. And we're going to close out our season right after Labor Day, the September the 3rd. We're going to close it out with the Fantastic Shakers, and they are always a big draw.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yes, they
do
are.
a great job.
Yes.
We want our viewers to know of your website.
Yes. It's www.sunsetbeachconcerts.com. You can go there to see all information about our bands, our charities, our
Right.
sponsors, and you can actually become a friend of the concerts too if you would like to. You can just go right on there and fill out the application, and we'll put your name on the website as well.
Terrific, terrific. Denise, we want our viewers to know precisely where the events occur and what, if anything, they should bring with them.
Okay. Again, they're on Wednesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. They are at the Village Park on Queen Anne Street in Sunset Beach. It is a fantastic venue. The band's set up underneath the gazebo. We have a nice green lawn. People can bring their lawn chairs, blankets, picnic baskets, what have you. But again, we do have food vendors on site. Papa John's, Fibbers is right across the parking lot, Sunset Slush, Dixieland Kettle Corn. It's actually pretty interesting to see how creative people can be with what they bring out. But yes, just bring your lawn chairs and be prepared to have a good time.
That's great, that's great. Fred, I know there's a ceremonial side to at least some of the events. Tell us about that.
Yes, Jim. For the holiday weekends or the Memorial Day, we had the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, Honor Guard, and Quartet.
They do a great job.
Yes, they do, Jim. They were here with us last year, and the townfolk, the audience really enjoyed seeing them.
I bet.
For 4th of July, we have the American Legion, and for Labor Day, our final concert of the season, it'll be the VFW.
Great.
So they will also present colors.
Fred, I know you support a number of charities. Could you mention a few of those?
Yes, Jim. This year, Lower Cape Fear Hospice and Life Center is one of our charities. The Boys and Girl Scouts, Brunswick Homeless Coalition, First Tee, Pretty in Pink this year. We have some new charities this year.
All of those great
Yeah.
endeavors.
Yes.
Denise, we always want our viewers to know the website, so let's give it to them again.
Again, it's www.sunsetbeachconcerts.com.
Great,
And you can also find us on Facebook, Sunset Beach Concert
Absolutely.
Series.
great.
Be our friends. We'll see you at the concerts. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
My guest is Ann Bockelman. She's with the Old Bridge Preservation Society, and Ann, I'm so glad you're here. We have a lot to talk about.
Oh, I'm glad to be here too,
Okay.
Jim. Thanks for having me.
Give us a little history, because there is a rich history about the Old Bridge and what has happened in recent years.
Well, you know, if you ask anyone, do you know Sunset Beach? What do you know about it? One of the things that people would always say is, oh, I know Sunset Beach. They have that swing bridge.
Right, exactly.
And so it was really an important part of our community. In 2010, when the new high-rise bridge was being built, 3 of us got together and decided that the old bridge needed to be saved. We just couldn't bear the thought of it going to a scrap heap. It has so many memories. It's such an icon in the community. So we worked to get it saved, and we really didn't know that we were going to be the ones who would save it.
I'll bet you'd like to mention their names as well.
Well, yes, my partners are Chris Wilson and Karen Dombrowski. They actually had started working on it and asked me a couple weeks later after they got into this if I would help them. So the three of us worked to save the bridge. And when it turned out that we were actually the ones who would save it, we formed a small nonprofit, became a 501c3, and got the bridge over on dry land with the help of a lot of people,
Sure.
including the construction company, English, who was building the new bridge, because they had to, in addition to building the new bridge, they had to get rid of the old one.
Right.
So they moved it over onto land that was donated for use by Clarice and Ronnie Holden. And that was in the winter, January of 2011, that the bridge actually was moved. So we've been working on it ever since to kind of rehabilitate and restore it. And our goal has been to open a museum.
And it's been well covered in the local newspapers, but now you're at the point where the museum is up and ready to go.
That's right. We actually opened the museum on Memorial Day weekend. We're really thrilled because, as I said, this is a goal we've been working toward since the summer of 2010,
Right.
when we first started the effort. So we have the museum open the same hours the bridge is open, and we have some interesting exhibits there, and we would love for everybody to come and visit us.
Now, we were talking before we went on the air, and you were explaining to me that it's a two-story facility.
Right.
That originally those who ran the bridge were in the second floor.
Well, it's two stories, and a lot
Tell
of
us
people,
about that.
as they went across the bridge, didn't realize because they only saw the upper level. So the upper level was the office, and that's where the bridge tenders would spend their time when they weren't busy operating the bridge. They had a radio there, and they would communicate with boats who wanted to know, when are you going to open the bridge?
Right.
And they would take care of all their paperwork. But when it came time to open the bridge, they would make an announcement over the marine radio. We actually have this on videotape, so when you come and visit us, you can see what it was really like. But they would make an announcement that they were going to open the bridge in a few minutes. Please wait for the signal, which was the siren.
Right.
And then, you can go through. And when they were ready to open it, there's a control panel, which is still there in the upstairs of the tender house, where they would turn the traffic lights red. They would drop the gates down that kept the traffic from coming onto the bridge. And then there's a spiral staircase that goes down to the lower level. So they go down there, and
Well, let's talk about the lower level now. What was there at the time the bridge was operational, and what's there now?
Okay, well, what was there when the bridge was operational? There were two diesel engines, the main engine and a reserve in case the main engine failed. That diesel engine operating powered a hydraulic pump. And the hydraulic pump had a big control panel with levers, and they actually operated 3 winches with big steel cable. So one winch would operate the cable that pulled the bridge open, another would operate the cable that pulled the bridge closed, and the third one operated the counterweights. The counterweights are these big 9,000-pound blocks of cement, one on each side, one on each end, so 4 altogether. And what the counterweights did was to cause the metal ramp to lift up, and it would lift up on each end. So without it doing that, the bridge couldn't swing open because the ramps were in contact with the roadway. So the counterweights would allow the ramps to lift up, and then the bridge would swing open.
And now you have your museum and your other offerings there on the first floor, is that right?
Right.
Tell us what's in there now.
Okay, upstairs is the museum, and in the lower level we have our store. So this is part of how we raise money to keep the bridge
Could I
operating.
call it a gift shop? Or
You could. We
something
call
close?
it the Old Bridge Store, but
Okay.
it is a gift shop, certainly.
Good.
And we have all sorts of bridge memorabilia there. We have some really wonderful prints by Bunny Lazan, a local artist, and they're framed in wood from the bridge. We have things with our logo on it, Christmas ornaments, necklace, wine glasses, T-shirts, caps. We have some really cute children's things, toys, and some other memorabilia. So we have a lot of merchandise there that's all related to the bridge.
Good. Now, I want to divert for just a moment because it's such an interesting story. The bridge has a connection to the Civil War, and you were telling me about a ship that's of great interest called the Vesta.
Right, right. It's a wonderful story. And the short version of it is that During the war, there was a blockade on all of the southern ports. And so ships, in order to get cargo in for ordinary people, but also for the Army, would be called blockade runners. And
Right.
they would pick up cargo in the Bahamas or Bermuda and bring it into Wilmington and other ports. So the Vesta was a blockade runner, and it was heading from Bermuda to Fort Fisher to deposit its cargo. And like most blockade runners, it was chased by some of the blockading ships. And on the 11th of January, the Vesta was being chased by, according to one account, 11 ships. But the Vesta was a new, innovative design with a twin screw and a really fast engine, and it outran all of those ships. And as darkness fell, the Vesta escaped and thought they were doubling back toward Wilmington, so they would be heading for Fort Fisher. About this time, the captain and some of the officers decided they should celebrate a little bit, and they broke into the whiskey stores that were part of the cargo. They became a little inebriated, and no one was minding the ship, so to speak, until about 2 in the morning. And the captain, I think, came to himself and said, well, maybe we better get this cargo to Fort Fisher. So he woke up the pilot and he said, we're at Fort Fisher, take us in.
Which was not true.
Except they weren't at Fort Fisher. They were by what is now Sunset Beach. So as they started running the ship in toward what they thought was Fort Fisher, they hit a sandbar and they ran aground.
Wow.
And they tried and tried to get it off the sandbar, but they couldn't. So they unloaded the paying passengers, which was pretty common on blockade runners, but a little bit risky, I would think. They unloaded the passengers, and then the captain was very worried about them being seized and also about the cargo falling into the federal hands, so he ordered the ship to be burned. Everyone escaped without injury, but all the cargo was lost. So there were rifles and shoes and books and whiskey, and apparently, by all accounts, a beautiful ceremonial uniform for General Lee sent by one of his admirers in England. So the Vesta burned down to the waterline, and in the next day at daylight, one of the Union ships came to check on it, and they wanted to see if they couldn't haul it away for capturing its cargo.
Right.
They weren't able to do that. All they got was 2 anchors. But they were fired upon by infantry on the shore, and they returned fire with a Parrott rifle, which fired these big shells. And we actually have one of those shells in the museum
No
that was
kidding.
found on Bald Beach years ago in the 50s.
Yeah.
But the Vesta stayed there in the water, and at low tide it was visible, what remained of it, mostly the boiler. And people used to wade out to it and fish there because it was sort of like a natural reef. And if you look at old pictures of the fishing pier that was built at Sunset Beach, it was called the Vesta Pier.
How about that?
In the struts that hold it up, there's a bigger space, and when you look closely in the photos, you see the Vesta.
Well, it's a great story.
So the Vesta now is still there, but because the sand has grown at Sunset Beach, it's not out in the water anymore. It's up under the actual beach.
That's a significant piece of history for all of us here in Brunswick County.
It is. It really is. And this is the 150th anniversary year of the Vesta running aground.
Terrific. Wow. These endeavors don't occur without costs. You're a nonprofit.
Right.
I know you seek to raise funds locally or otherwise. Tell us about that. How do you raise monies? And is there a fee to go to the museum?
There is not a fee to go to the museum.
Okay.
We felt strongly about trying to keep it at no charge, but we always appreciate donations.
Sure.
It's been an expensive venture to restore the bridge and create the museum, and it's been a labor of love. We also have in the summer programs at the old bridge, and people can come to those, which are also free of charge. Our summer programs will begin on the 17th of this month.
Tell us just a little bit about the programs.
Well, they're really fun. On Tuesday nights, we have history talks, so we'll tell the story of the Vesta
Great.
and even more interesting details than I've been able to tell you here. On Wednesday mornings, we have Young Explorers program. So that's for kids. It's from 10 to 1. And we're open then. We have special programs. They learn a little bit about the history. They learn about how the bridge works, some of the scientific principles. And then on Thursdays, we have Family Fun Night, and that's from 5 to 8, same hours as Tuesday night, 5 to 8 Tuesday and Thursday. we have some really interesting programs. One night is Pirates Night. You can learn to say "arg" and talk like a pirate.
Sure.
We have snakes and turtles and birds, oh my, and you can learn about some of the creatures that we share our environment with.
You mentioned activities of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but tell us a little bit more about Thursday.
Oh, Thursday's a great night because it's especially for families. So we have the pirates, we have the animal programs I mentioned. We also once a month have a cookout.
Great.
And for a small fee, $3, people can come and get a hot dog grilled on the grill and enjoy some refreshments and just have a really good time.
Terrific.
We have a wonderful group of volunteers who helps us put on all these programs, and they do a great, great job.
Tell our viewers about your website.
Okay, I'm sure that it will show at the end of the program, but
Mm-hmm.
it's oldbridgepreservationsociety.org. We also have a phone number you can contact us, and
All right,
that's
let's give that.
910-363-6585.
Ann Bockelman, it's a great story. Thanks for being here and telling us about the Old Bridge Preservation Society. We appreciate it so much.
Thanks for having us, Jim.
Thank you. My guest is Tom Smiklis. Tom is the Vice President and Director of the Summer Concert Series for the Brunswick Band. Tom, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Tom, we were talking just before we went on air about a little bit about your background. Tell us a little more about your background.
Well, I was born and raised in Cicero, Illinois, a
Right.
close suburb of Chicago. Began my musical studies there. Was fortunate to have some very fine instructors. Graduated from Morton High School, then gravitated to Miami University after doing some professional playing in Chicago. Received a Bachelor of Music degree from Miami University, played a lot around the Cincinnati area, and went into education as a director in Northern Ohio for the better part of 30 years, where I was a director of bands, a supervisor of music. I was the chairman of the Council of Supervisors for the Ohio Music Education Association, and finally a high school principal. I enjoy that,
So
that tenure.
you've had dual careers, really, of being an educator and a professional musician.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Well, we're here today to talk about your summer concert series. Tell us a little bit more about the Brunswick Concert Band.
Surely. We have approximately 50 members, sometimes as many as 60. It's a very diverse group. They range in age from 13 to 86 years of age.
Wow, that's great.
It's wonderful. It really is. We're happy to have an increasing number of middle and high school students that are expressing an interest in playing with us, and that's just wonderful. It speaks well for the particularly the South Brunswick middle school and high school programs who are avid supporters of the Brunswick bands.
Well, I've been to your programs, and I see young people scattered throughout the band.
Yes, and we love them.
Yeah.
We just love the kids. We do 3 concert series, winter, spring, and summer. I'm doing the summer series. The summer series is quintessentially a traditional summer park concert. We take historical band literature, everything from original Sousa arrangements on through honoring our servicemen and doing patriotic numbers. And we perform those in approximately a 1-hour program around the county as a service to the community. I invite all the viewers to please stop and try to pick up one of the programs. We're playing the same concert 5 times, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
Great. We've already talked about youth, but another aspect of your activities with youth is that you try to provide band instruments. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, the Brunswick bands over the last 10 years or so have initiated a program to provide band instruments for students who can't afford to rent or buy instruments on their own and play in their school bands. We do accept donations of instruments from folks in the Brunswick community. We do renovate them. Jim Varno, who's an excellent repairman, renovates the instruments for us at minimal cost. And then we loan these
Excellent.
out to the students without charge for their entire tenure of participation in their school band program.
That's great. You're really touching lives.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
And the band members are thrilled to have this type of program available.
You also have scholarships.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about that.
Sure. For the students who perform in the Brunswick Concert Band, if they are going, to say, to Interlochen to a music camp, we had a young lady, Bryn McKenzie, who's an outstanding flutist, go last year. We help subsidize her tuition Justin Van Houten, a fine trumpet player. We have helped him out with scholarships, and we're now working, since students at South Brunswick High School specifically have a relatively substantial fee to participate in high school band. We're looking at a program to help offset their tuition costs.
Excellent.
Through their participation fully in the Brunswick Concert Band, we can probably help them with a good amount of their tuition to be in their high school band.
Let's remind our viewers that you have two bands, actually.
The Brunswick
Tell us
Big
about
Band, Frank Mahoney, very seasoned director and a true gentleman, directs this group. It performs music from the 40s, 50s, and 60s in a big band format. It's a jazz band. Many of the musicians that play in the big band also play in the Brunswick Concert Band. We're very happy to have folks playing in both groups. The concert band is, again, around 50 members, perhaps a few more, and we do the standard concert band literature.
Tom, you're always looking for new musicians, right?
We love new musicians in the band.
Tell us about opportunities to join your
Absolutely.
band.
Anyone who plays a band instrument at a reasonable level, high school level, is encouraged to join the Brunswick Concert Bands. We run an open society there. If you're interested in joining in playing some very, very fine band music on your instrument, all you need to do is to go to our website. We have a Facebook presence, actually, which is actually more pronounced, Brunswick Bands North Carolina. And you can see a little bit of what we do on that Facebook site. And also, if you'd like to call me directly, maybe you can place my number on the screen. I'd be happy to provide any information for anyone interested in getting further details on our Brunswick Concert Band. It's 910-253-4573, and just ask for Tom. I'm usually the one that picks up the phone.
Great. You mentioned high school standard for playing, but you're very modest.
Yeah.
I will tell you, because I've been to your concerts, the quality is superb.